Welcome back to the HGC. We are preparing for our second series of the day, as we'll have Roll20 and Dignitas facing off. Now, both these teams are placed in the standings where they're going to be. We have Dignitas going in with the #1 seed when it comes to BlizzCon, and of course Roll20 is going to be heading to the Crucible. So, no major standing changes for these teams, but still a match for us to keep an eye on. My name is Trixler over there. We got Caldor as we check out the standings now.
And I actually think we could see some pretty interesting picks here today, considering that this is more of a show match from the two teams here.
Yeah.
So wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of wildcards coming out.
Couple of wild cards. We'll see if we're going to get that from them. The big matches tomorrow will be Team Liquid facing off, as we'll check them out. But let's go ahead and look at today's schedule. Earlier we had Leftovers and Granite Gaming face off. Leftovers able to grab a 3-1. Granite Gaming putting up a bit of a fight, but not enough to get a win over them.
And then we have North America with No Tomorrow versus LFM Esports and Endemic versus Tempo Storm. Endemic literally the team that I stopped predicting because like I have no idea what's going out there.
I don't know what's going on with Endemic
it's like
ever, man.
3-0-0-3, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, they just come out. They seem to be like a super momentum-based team. If they have moments where they feel like they are on top of the world, they display it. If they feel like they're not quite there, it kind of shows in their play too. I don't know. We'll watch out for that one. But let's go ahead and keep an eye on EU as it is time for Dignitas and Roll20 to face off. Let's go ahead and check out with the players themselves as we prepare to head to Battleground #1.
Roll20 hasn't been looking that good lately. They did have their 2 wins against Method and Granite, so you could think they were on a turning point. But losing to Monkeys and then Leftovers, I think that's not the case. So I would say we're very happy with our performance during this phase. It's been a very fun year, almost not dropping a single map. So yeah, looking forward to BlizzCon and whatever comes next.
So obviously, since we're already in the Crucible and the fact that we're up against Dignitas, we don't really have high ambitions on this series, but we're not gonna go out there and troll. We're gonna go in, do our best, and see where it takes us. I think Wooby is a phenomenal player. He always has been. And right now, with them being on the top, it's for sure a player I respect a lot, and looking forward to play.
As we head in this series, I think it'd be pretty awesome to see a couple of heroes come in as a bit of a show match between these two. But I also kind of wonder if it is also a moment where Dignitas comes in and just tries to shut down Roll20 in the most effective manner possible. Because when you do have a loss, when you're usually on an undefeated team, it's kind of a kick in the rear to say, hey, let's get things back going and make sure that we're on top of our game.
Already predicting the future here.
That's what I do, man.
And so like the show is actually pre-recorded, right? Chat is pre-recorded.
It is pre-recorded.
I mean, it's true. Like, put a show in your head and prove me wrong. You see?
I'm not going to take my shoe off.
You can't do it. You see, told you. Pre-recorded. No shoe. You could do it, but you can't. Because it's pre-recorded.
Do I honestly have to do this?
You can't.
I'm going to prove it's not pre-recorded. We're doing this. What? I took it off and everything, Josh!
I'm like, what? You're actually doing it?
Now my foot's all lopsided. I'm uncomfortable.
You were actually doing it?
Yeah! For the memes!
And he shut you down.
Can I go back on vacation? I'm going back to Orlando.
I don't know what was better, that you would actually do that.
Yeah!
And he just said no.
We had a discussion about improv and how you say yes to everything. It took a little bit of confidence, but I was going to do it.
Wait, you're going to say yes to everything?
Okay. Battleground #1. We are going to Infernal Shrines. Between these two, we also have 2 Battle Queen banned out by Roll20, and then Braxis has been banned out by Team Dignitas. So let's see what's going to be happening here as we head to Infernal Shrines.
Great power comes great responsibility, but I have to use this somehow.
I love Spider-Man. He's one of my faves, man. Here we go.
Okay. So Dig is going in with the first pick here.
Mm.
I mean, again, Infernal Shrines, you would think that probably we're going to see Rel being a very high focus here. I just want to see if Roll20 is willing to mix things up a little bit, because from their perspective, Crucible is going to be very important. So while you don't want to take this lightly and you want to take the opportunity to definitely test things here and test your mettle against the best team in the league, you also don't want to show anything that would be out of the norm that you want to then use in the Crucible later on. So you don't want to give the teams that are watching this to prepare for the Crucible a lot to go on.
At the same time, you want to strike fear into their hearts. They're going to be picking you, etc., right?
Of course.
So you got to make sure you still put your best foot forward. But it is a bit of a balance, isn't it?
I would actually assume that the teams that hold the Bananas by now have a pretty good idea of who they're going to choose. I mean, if you really need to go to the last week, well, you know, we have Fnatic going up against the Monkeys, we have Dignitas going up against Roll20. Those are like 2 matches. Can you really glean too much of that? You're going to watch, you're going to see if there's something that stands out to you. Yeah. But I would say that at this point, they have a pretty clear idea of who they actually are going to pick.
I'm waiting for that day, man. Again, okay, the team at Dignitas immediately opening up with a Samuro first pick on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we go through with that sub-in?
I don't know. Can we get an update?
Josh?
Josh, please.
So there was a discussion.
Yes.
Whoopi might not be able to make it to the first game. Stuck in traffic. We didn't get an update. And we just got it, actually. Monkey is filling in for Whoopi.
Okay, therefore, Samuro first pick.
Okay,
so in case, let's throw that out there. So Whoopi can't make the first game, and there was a sub discussed, and that's Monkey. And Monkey is literally the guy that brought Samuro into HGC, because back then Ethereal played it for the first time, and he played against Monkey in EuroLeague. And Monkey is pretty much not quite a one-trick, but he has a pretty big fetish for Samuro.
He's gifted when it comes to Samuro.
He's gifted when it comes to Samuro. So that explains the Samuro first pick here.
So, yes. Yeah. Samuro is being played, Monkey is here. I mean, Monkey to the point, he's so good at Samuro that pros were literally discussing when Samuro was being picked for a couple weeks that all of them were tuning in his stream to learn how to play the character. Literally everybody was watching Monkey. So that means if you haven't seen Monkey yet, be ready to be surprised here, as he's about to show you how to play this character. That means that Roll20 Esports better be ready, because he will pick you apart.
Massive focus on him. Gonna die 5 times in the offlane. Gonna be completely shut down. No, but like his stream is honestly quite a bit of fun. I can't quite remember where he's from, but he had some problems with his connection, so that streaming is actually a bit of an issue for him.
He's from across the pond. That's what I say.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty like.
Yeah, but it's a safe answer. Generic. That's what I say when people ask me where they live. Like, across the pond.
And you mean that means that Europeans don't have good internet?
No, it just means they're across the Atlantic Ocean. That's all it means.
But we know that he's European. I mean, he's playing in HGC Europe.
I hate you.
I'm not getting it.
Your Germanness. Tyrande and Mephisto coming out for Roll20 Esports. So we finally get our first view at what Mephisto can do.
Can we call him Miffy?
Miffy?
Sounds cute.
He's a Lord of Hatred. You can't just give him a nickname.
Why not? Is that against the rules?
It is against the rules.
Okay, if it's a rule, then I'm going to stick to it because I'm German.
I do like that rules. Mephisto is being pulled out here at 1 against Samuro. With you having those Clones Band around there, should be able to set up some pretty decent setups to be able to get that cooldown reduction coming in from him. Johanna and Junkrat will be your 4th and 5th pick for Team Dignitas.
Mephisto is definitely going to be interesting in the setup that they're running here. I was actually a bit surprised that we didn't see Mephisto in the earlier game already. I would have thought that the teams were a little bit more willing, to experiment with him now in the first weekend here, especially in the matches that don't necessarily change the standings anymore. Jimmy comes in for the more sustainable damage at the backline. But yeah, Mephisto should actually do quite well against Samuro.
He should. Kind of curious this is going to pay off here. Now, on one side of the coin, you can just make sure that Monkey is just nowhere near the team fight as much until he needs to go and snipe somebody. And Mephisto is one of those characters that can be focused down, especially if he uses his Shade, which is a relatively high cooldown. So I can see a spot where Samuro, after seeing a Shade gets used, comes in from behind, just jumps right on top of him, and then of course backs away with the Illusion Master. So this should be a fun matchup to watch, actually.
And Tyrande for the only support here. I mean, you have Urel. Okay, you have Urel, also the extra armor comes in too. Should be a good one.
Yeah. Double heals coming in from Tyrande. She has not had her slight nerfs come in yet. That will be on a different patch here. So this is the first iteration of Tranda coming out.
I'm also hyped for Samuro.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. And now we can see the Samuro master himself bring that in. So.
What if he just utterly fails?
Could happen. I mean, you have pressure on you. You're playing not only in HGC as a sub player, you're playing on Dignitas too.
Yeah.
So you already know if you lose that series, you're going to be blamed. That's
Wow.
just what's going to happen.
Let's go into it here. Game number 1, Infernal Shrines will be the battleground between these two as they bust up battle. We got Monkey filling in for Wubby in the top lane as he'll be playing Samuro against a Mephisto. Our first look at him.
Game on, as to the left side, we have Roll20 starting things up with a Shad playing on Tyrande. We are seeing Quacknix playing Reyna, range damage for him. Chris playing Mephisto. And Robadoba on Garrosh with our last player here, Zermany coming in and playing Yrel.
On the right side, repping the red. Snitch on Junkrat, Poik to play Hanzo, Azalea on Deckard Cain, and JPL on Johanna, and subbing in for Wubby. It's Monkey on Samuro.
Alright, so we're gonna take a closer look, of course, at Mephisto's build since we're having him for the first time. So far from most of the pros, we have actually a very high focus into spell power. And that's not only necessarily true for the level 1 talent, where you have Malicious Intent, but also later on, the Abhorred Skull, for example, on 13, is a really big focus for a lot of players here, where it's all about that spell power that you're trying to get. So we're gonna keep a bit of an eye on him. Level 7, that's usually where we're also going to see Trickery then. But yeah, we're going to keep an eye on what exactly Chris is going to pick for his hero here. But as of now, it's all about the Shade of Mephisto, getting the Malicious Intent so that you have the extra spell power for the 2.2 after the Shade ends, and of course during its duration as well.
Been seeing a lot of builds that are kind of honed in on this idea of building up the Shade of Mephisto. It seems to be your bread and butter. You mix it with the Shade. Level 7, you can get some movement speed mixed in here as well. I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to be getting that, or maybe even the armor coming in for Mephisto. I'll be keeping an eye on the build, but it feels like grabbing that movement speed gives you the chance to make sure you hit that ring. That ring is actually a small margin that you can have a lot of errors for, and having the movement speed coming in usually allows for you to make sure that you're hitting that point and getting, of course, that cooldown reduction.
Yeah, and also, of course, the slows and some roots that you can remove through that. So I've mostly seen Trickery on level 7, which is exactly the talent that you're talking about. I mean, again, normally when we're having a hero coming into HGC, there's usually a little bit of adaptation that happens in the build after the first, let's say, weekend, for example.
Yeah.
So, but going into it, that's kind of what we expect from the hero here. So we're going to see if that's going to be the case. But yeah, for now, let's see how Chris is going to approach this. We, of course, have to also keep an eye on Monkey, who's currently subbing in here for Wubby, who couldn't make the first game. Currently having the Way of Illusion taken on 1, and he's starting to get his stacks together, sitting at 6 right now. Needs, of course, a bit more time. But we'll see how exactly Dignitas approaches this game.
Yeah, he'll be a little bit more fun to watch when we get towards that level 10. Illusion Master coming online, jumping all over the battleground, finding targets to pick off. Rainer, in particular, can be a main focus for him. Mephisto, if Shade gets used. For now, it's all about building up those stacks between our teams. Looking over to Poik as well, working on that Scatter Arrow at level 1. Level 4 comes online for Snitch. Well, of course, will allow him to build damage on top of his grenades. And we'll be having the next Shrine pop up soon, so teams head straight to Bruiser camps to make sure they have lane pressure while they get ready for that Shrine.
Monkey, of course, has now the advantage also that he's gonna go through all the camps as long as he can, and especially as you said later on in the late game after level 10, mid game 2, he's going to be the one who's doing most of those, even solo, depending on how they're going to try and play that. That being said, we have now level 4 taken, and we're actually seeing the Furious Spark now for Mephisto. So the Lightning Nova is going to be super important here, doing the extra damage after every 5th hit with the Lightning Nova against the same target. Sorry, the Static Barrier. Still blanking here a little bit.
Still helpful, getting those shields in there. Makes it easier to kind of build into what Mephisto does when he goes in, very Wormhole-like. Alright, so Shrine activates. We have top lane being pushed in by both Yrel and Junkrat, actually. Yes, Samura's on the bottom lane. Team Dignitas has started to clear out what they can. It seems like they are very alright with the split pushing type of composition here. They have Samuro trying to do what he can. Rainer goes down to defend. Well, finally, the rest of Dignitas jumps in the Shrine with the lead. 11-4 so far in minion control.
But we're also seeing a little bit of monkey business happening here with Samuro really just getting those side lanes pushed out. And that's where, in this case, we had Rainer reacted. I mean, Mephisto gives you also quite a bit of value on the shrine itself, and you can just try to get the additional AoE out here. And that's currently what Chris is able to work in. So they're trying to get that first objective, but Dignitas is doing a fantastic job setting themselves ahead here. 27 stacks, and now they can simply move in while we still have Monkey rotating between the lanes, double soaking and pressuring very aggressively the bottom lane in particular.
The joy of having explosive arrow on Hanzo. Clearing that up as JPL moves in with the Condemn, tries to group up as many minions as possible.
They're getting everything right now. They're actually getting the objective if that continues, and yes, they do, and they get that side soak. So this is a fantastic situation for Dignitas to be in.
And it is. Full push here in the middle, a slight experience lead, and that should extend itself with these turrets going down. Maybe they can even get a little bit more on top of that depending if they can follow up. There's going to be the scroll straight on top of Garage. Robodoba is able to back up, but again, the wall is the focus.
Trickery also now taken as expected from Mephisto on level 7, so the movement speed is in and removing those roots. So Chris, so far, speccing the hero exactly as expected. I mean, they are able to break through the wall. Dignitas is already walking away with a bit of a lead in experience here. Roll20 made sure that they don't lose out on the fort. But considering that with especially Samuro, it's usually the early game where you're trying to get some value, this is only going to get tougher if you're Roll20.
Burning Blade coming in too, helping for an additional 50% damage, but also the splash that you get on there. We have both opponents do group up, just a quick strike. Being able to pre-drop dead from your critical strike, so nice Burning Blade pick up for Samuro.
I mean, not gonna lie here, this is already looking a bit tough for Roll20, just simply because Dignitas is able to be ahead. They got the objective, they get the side push, they have the experience lead, and they are playing this really well now with Monkey up to the top. So it's just a four-man of Dignitas, and then their sub-player is rotating around, grabbing the experience on the lanes, and just doing his thing. And that's something that he is really good at, and he's already pressuring the top lane here. So for Roll20, especially with the Tirana composition and the way that they're playing, they kind of need to try and find a couple of kills here, at least threaten them, and that hasn't really happened yet.
I think it should get a little bit better for Roll20 at level 10. Mephisto's heroic, of course, being global, being able to put that damage and slow on an opponent.
Yeah.
Hyperion 2 can also help control the shrines if they need to. We'll see if they're able to get there and be able to get the fights they want to, but I can agree with you. It's starting to look like they are about to buckle.
Like, my problem is really their macro game more so than anything else.
Yeah.
That's what scares me a bit. Especially, consider how the pick priority was for Dignitas on Samuro. They know that Samuro is very likely going to be banned out because every European Hero League player on that level knows him. So if you're going up against him, that's going to be a ban. And if you know that Samuro is picked in the first slot, you kind of need something that can mirror him in the way that he controls the map, and I don't really see that on the side of Roll20.
Yeah, the wave clear lacking, especially on Tyrande. Not being able to bring in there, of course, Garage too. They got decent stuff between Mephisto and such, but they're going to have to try and babysit him. That's kind of the thing with the Samuro, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have to just watch him.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, you normally don't really see a lot of that Samuro versus Urel matchup, but especially in the long run. In the early game, I don't doubt that Urel is definitely going to hold her own here, but in the long run, when Samuro has, through his level 10 now, also the ability to just like shift, I feel it's going to be very difficult for Urel, especially without her level 7 Divine Steed, to keep up with Samuro in terms of clear and the push power that he has against structures.
Consume Souls has been the pickup here for Mephisto. Gotta get that channel in for 2 seconds. Once you do, you bring out that damage to help burn down your opponents. Give that slow, which should allow for Raynor to proc his level 1. Let's see if they're able to get this fight they're looking for. The Shrine finally activates. It'll be here in about 10 seconds while both teams are setting up for their bruiser camps to push into lanes. Trying to make sure you get the scouts, as Shad will see that Team Dignitas is in the top right.
Now, this is going to be super important for Roll20. It's one of the few where you can fight on even talents, because if Dignitas walks away with another objective plus additional side soak, that would be a massive lead for the red team. So this is a really important one. You have the heroics, you can zone your opponent out, you have the taunt also, and especially, of course, with Tyrande's ult plus the Hyperion, there's immense power with AoE damage that we're seeing for Roll20 now.
Yeah, Roll20 can look at a spot and say, we own this area.
Yeah.
Starfall, Hyperion, and Team Dignitas will have to respect it or get a kill right away. Oh, speaking about a kill right away, Dignitas goes straight on in. It's going to be straight on to Robodoba. He's going to eventually fall here. Big damage coming out from Mephisto, but Team Dignitas stands firm as they'll heal on up and start to head back in.
That's bad news for Roll20.
Yeah,
Losing the front line and also using all your cooldowns and not really getting anything out of it. Dignitas has an easy objective to pick here. Monkey is sitting at the top lane with a Samuro and is trying to pressure against the camp that Zarmony has been taking with his team earlier. But this is really bad news. least it's not Kane Punisher too. Dignitas is bound to get a lot of value through that bot lane now. And it's going to be tough.
Especially with that wall already being opened up. Monkey doing that earlier with Samuro during the first Infernal phase. So we're going to have that cleared up for immediately done. Monkey is starting to struggle a little bit there in that top lane, but all he has to do is soak there and just make sure that Euro doesn't get too far forward on top of that fort. Make sure not to get picked off either. So there we go. First fort down, and the rest of Team Dignitas starts to rotate over. If they need to, jump right into the top lane and help against this Euro problem that Team Dignitas is eventually going to have to deal with.
Yeah, Monkey is now also in a spot where he's still trying to stack his level 1, and he's sitting at 32 stacks right now. Shikuchi taken on level 4, so the mini teleport that you have with your Wind Walk is active for him right now as an option. But yeah, Samuro heading into that late game where he is so incredibly powerful. I mean, we had a time in Europe where he was banned out against several teams because he was so annoying to play against.
If you're wanting to deal with the Samuro, typically you want to make sure that you're able to go to this phase of the game with all of your forts still standing, so you can kind of sacrifice things here and there. But with them having 2 forts down, Roll20 is going to deal with that late game prowess that you were just talking about already. We have Samuro going straight to Mercenary Camp. So you have the Illusion Master set up on the top right, you have the next camp on the bottom being grabbed. Typical Monkey.
Robadova goes in, there comes a stun after the taunt, they're trying to go for Zelia, no kill there, and Monkey is just rotating down to the bot lane now. Dignitas continuing with the strategy of keeping him isolated, whereas everyone else is roaming as a 4-man. So Monkey is doing a Samuro thing, just controlling the side lane as much as he can, and that's the name of the game for them right now.
Spell power going to be continued to be built upon here for Mephisto as Chris moves into the Skull at level 13, which of course if you're able to land that Skull missile, you get an extra spell power for 6 seconds, so you build that with your level 1 as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we talked about earlier when the game started. You have that level 1 spell power on the Shade, and then your level 13 on the Skull missile. So pretty much the build that you see most of the time on that level from Mephisto players. But of course this is now the first weekend and also the first time that we have him in HGC Europe. And as I say that, a lot of hatred gets hated upon. Haters gonna hate, and Deckard is the biggest one of them.
Bit of a shady engage there by him, as we're going to have Zarmany take some pressure on the top left, jumps away, Blessed Shield comes out too. Zarmany able to get straight over to the fort. Team Dignitas still trying to fight though, as JPL is stopped in the range.
Zarmany needs to be careful here. Cam's pushing on every single lane right now. Ardent Defender comes out. They're trying to get even more with that fort now being assailed. It's tough for Roll20 Esports. I feel it's also very fitting that the first time that we see Mephisto played in HGC Europe and the first time that he dies, it's actually Deckard Cain killing him.
It is very appropriate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lord of Hatred. Scary demon. Taken out by an old man with a staff.
I mean, they also don't really like each other. So.
You know, I mean, feels like the justified hate for each other, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Monkey pushing down to the bot lane. Roll20, as we said, like the macro game controlling that is going to be tough for them. And Dignitas with that early pick into Samuro has already showcased. And you can see that on the minimap the entire time. I mean, look at the bottom of the map. Monkey is actually starting to threaten the keep here. And this is exactly what I talked about 3-4 minutes ago. Controlling that macro game is going to be a disaster for Roll20. And especially if they already lose the objectives like they do. And now Monkey is just slowly and steadily chipping away at those structures, chipping away at those lanes, and making sure that if Roll20 doesn't pay attention or is forced into a team fight that ties them down for a little bit, he's going to take the structures, he's going to take that keep.
Samuro literally induces anxiety to the opposing team. You're always worried about where he's going to be, what he's going to do, what he's going to slowly take away from you. And Roll20 has to decide, do they want to continue to try and keep babysitting him, or is going to fully commit to a fight? And they've gone with the latter of the option. They bring all 5 here to the middle. They're going to fight for the shrine, because it's getting to a point where this game is going to break if they don't do something soon.
And they're Talon down too, so 2 levels down, Talon behind. They're fighting here, and Monkey is just saying like, all right, boys, I got the bot lane. And Dignitas, they are playing the smart game up here. They're stalling it out, they're buying time, they are just making sure that Roll20 is not walking away with a quick objective, buying the opportunity for Monkey to get the power there, the port lane, and that keep is going to fall.
Yep, 2 goals, buy as much time as possible, and don't die. Roll20 brings a little bit of pressure here from Chris. Gets some decent procs here and there, but Team Dignitas backs up, and finally Roll20 is going to be getting up to that 35-40 mark, where eventually they're going to get that Punisher. But Team Dignitas thanks to keeping the bottom left, thanks to Monkey and his efforts. And he's actually thinking about pushing in for a core. Yeah, he's going in.
Monkey's going for the core here. He's like, all right, boys, I got this. So the 4-man, let's see how that works out, because at some point Roll20 is going to have to react to what's happening here. Monkey is having a good day, and there's catapults pushing through this pretty soon. Someone has to deal with that, and it's going to be Urel.
The rest of Team Dignitas is trying to keep him here. Shad gets low on health. And the other part, too, is those mirror images were actually pulling away mini aggro, too, through that Night Camp, that Bruiser Camp in the top lane, and starting to push in and put some damage on top of that keep. So Roll20 just slowly being starved to death. They did get about 14% on top of that core, and they also take away a Junkrat.
Look at the top lane now.
Yeah.
Top lane is getting the same, basically the same treatment. Now Monkey's going to rotate over to that pretty soon, but that keep is already taking damage. That's an easy picking for Samuro later on in the game. Roll20 might have just won a Punisher, but that bad boy didn't really do anything for them.
Someone argued they won the Punisher, but they've already lost the game, right? Like, you have all those catapults pushing into you. This is one of those spots where it's like, okay, we need a Hail Mary type of approach. But the thing is, you can't really Hail Mary into a Johanna. You can't Hail Mary into a Junkrat. They're so good at being able to get away from a fight. At the same time, you still have to get forts and keeps down.
I mean, Dignitas just understands perfectly well that all they have to do right now is buy the time for Samuro.
Yeah.
Don't overextend into these fights. Play them slow, pressure the opponent, but don't step in too deep. Don't lose heroes. Just play it as slow as you possibly can and buy more time. Force the opponent to react. And once they see people peel off, they can still engage into this quite easily and say, okay, now we're going for a battle. But as long as there's a 5-man against them, just stall them out. That's all you need to do.
Mentioned earlier, Samuro already back in the top lane, starting to push on in, and Roll20 has to decide what they want to do. They have a turret wall to get through, so it's probably advisable to pull back and start dealing Samuro. Zarmany will start to do that right now, as Team Dignitas tries to force the issue with the Tornado.
Yeah, and Monkey is already at the top lane again. So we have Urel trying to react to that, but Samuro is going to attempt to push that out. There's another camp also pushing through the middle. Has 14% on the core already missing. Things are really starting to get tricky for Roll20, and especially for Zarmany. This is going to be a super annoying game right now, because he's in a spot where he's basically babysitting structures.
And not getting paid for it either. Robodoba on the front line, takes some hand. Gonna be able to drop down a taunt. JPL, however, turns around the big condemn, goes straight for Shad. Shad gets knocked away. Snitch, unfortunately, knocking him out of the fight, but Chris is going to be getting that Mephisto damage in while Quacknix tries to get a kill, but he gets picked off from the side as Hanzo lands some arrows.
Really well done. And Johanna, even with that snap pick on the Indestructible, surviving. So JPL, that 20 just came in time for him to not fall here. Monkey again with a rotation up to the middle, actually, like participating right now. Did not use the one to the top, completes his level 1 now. Didn't really participate in too many fights just yet. But they're 3 levels ahead, 3 kills against 1. Easy rotation, pressure in the mid lane here. Next shrine is going to spawn topside too. Things are definitely looking very good for Dignitas.
There it is. Here we go. Straight in, Bruiser Camp grab. Next shrine should be up soon here for them to move to the top lane. Question is, do you bring Samuro there and attempt to grab it completely and just fully all in, or do you keep up with this stretching your opponent thin strategy?
I mean, you can simply push out the bot lane, right? So they can escort the catapults towards the core and put them again on the timer here. I don't even think that Monkey necessarily has to go for any other lane. Bot lane is a really good lane for them to push, but they're already trying to go through the keep here. I mean, things are rough for Roll20 now. That's another keep down. 2 keeps already eliminated. That's 2 catapult lanes pushing. Level 20 on the opponent's side. And Monkey is very likely to make a rotation and to just either attack the mid keep as well, or simply escort the catapults through the bot lane towards the core. Because Samuro alone, if he gets on the core again, last time he already took 14% off.
Yeah.
Add a couple of catapults to that equation, and you have game 1 in the bag for Dignitas.
And we're going to be keeping an eye on Samuro, seeing if he's going to be heading down the bottom left, and he actually does there. Same time, a full engagement Roll20 in this top right as they move in. Big taunt comes out too.
He's going to end bot lane now. Hanzo goes down, and there's a big fight, but Samuro's already on the core. Samuro's on the core, someone has to go back. It's Zarmany again, but that core catapults did not make it all the way. Catapults didn't make it all the way, but Monkey did, and he's already chunking that down slowly and steadily. But with the catapult still stuck on the minions, Roll20 can hold on to it, for at least for now.
Did he just dodge out on the damage from Mephisto with Illusion Master?
Yeah, and he's actually going to finish it, isn't he?
What a legend.
Yeah, he's going for it. The catapults are finally there, and that is going to be game. 1 Monkey to rule them all.
I love Monkey.
Okay, here's the thing. This is one of those things where you see Samuro, you're really going to love Samuro, but if you had it every single day, you would hate it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Luckily, there aren't as many players that are as gifted as Monkey when it comes to Samuro, that's for sure. Okay, so only 3-2 in kills, but the pressure heavily in favor of Team Dignitas as they slowly burn down Roll20.
It's just... I am surprised that we had no bigger reaction from Roll20
Yeah.
in the draft after Samura was picked.
Some kind of wave clear that could instantly just stop him from doing what he wants to do.
Yes.
Something. You could maybe have gotten a Dahaka instead. Gosh, this might be crazy. Rag Lava Wave, something to just kind of stop the pushes. I mean, that's a little bit crazy when it comes to cooldowns, but at least you can decide that you want to commit fully to a team fight, right? You just do Lava Wave, wherever Samuro may be. Just things like that. Some kind of instant wave clear. That's the kind of line of thinking you need.
I don't even hate the Rag idea here. I
Yeah.
think from an idea perspective, it's actually good.
Every time I mention Rag, I'm just ready for you to be like, no. And it's just like, so I just prepare
No,
myself.
I just have to smile because it's just like,
It works.
yeah, no, again, I'm okay. I would have been okay with it here.
Always fun times here in the HGC. And speaking of fun times, something that we got to talk about. Quacknix has something that he wants to say to you guys at home. He's had a lot of positive moments here at the HGC, and we love him a bunch for it. So go ahead and check something out here as Quacknix has a message for you guys at home.
And get your tissues ready.
Guys, Quack here. The HGC has been a home to me for the last 2 years. I've enjoyed so many positive experiences, but there's also been some negative experience during this journey, but let's not talk about them. So first of all, I want to give a massive shout out to all the fans, you guys at home, that have been watching me and whatever team I've been playing in and cheering us on throughout this journey. It has been an amazing time, an amazing ride that I will never forget in my life. I've explored the world, I've met so many great people, I met so many fantastic players, and obviously a lot of you guys, the fans. And you guys mean everything to me. I've also made a lot of money, let's not forget that part. So the reason I'm on here right now as well is because I want to talk about something. I'm actually going to be leaving the HGC competitive scene to take a break. I'm however not gonna leave the HOTS community at all because I love this community and I want to stay involved as long as I can. However, as I just mentioned, I will be taking a step down from HGC next season. I want to provide more content than ever and actually stay more involved with the community than ever, and therefore I am gonna be trying out full-time streaming for a while with main focus on Heroes of the Storm, starting to provide a lot more content for you guys. So stay tuned for that if you want to keep being a part of my journey. Before I leave the competitive scene, I have one more goal, and that is to make sure that Roll20 doesn't go out of Crucible. So you guys have to make sure that you go watch us on that Crucible day and that you cheer us on. I'm gonna be putting my best effort in to make sure that my boys stay in the HGC. And one more time, I just want to give a big shout out to all the people that have been involved in my journey, which goes from, I guess, everyone who actually works at Blizzard, all the fans out there, all the teams and players I've been playing with and against throughout these years. Like, as I said, you guys have all been the biggest part of my life the past 3 years, and I'll never forget these years. So thank you guys so much.
Oh my God! Quacknix with a kill!
Quack has had so many moments here in the HGC that it's kind of hard to actually accept that he's leaving. He kind of dropped the bomb on me. Actually, we were doing interviews this week. I don't know, man.
He better be back.
Yeah, he better be back. I don't know.
It's actually weird because, like, does that mean that I have to wish that his streaming career fails?
That's kind of what you
Not
have to
right,
do.
right? Like,
Yeah, it's
can I
not
have,
right.
Can I have both?
We do know that no matter what Quack does, he's going to succeed at it. He's that type
Yeah.
of guy that he will push until he gets there, right? And so whatever he wants to do, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for all your time, Quack, here in the HGC. We've appreciated it. You've led Fnatic to amazing runs. You've gotten Roll20 here. I mean, we'll watch you on the Crucible, see if you guys can get through here. But again, we're going to miss you, man.
We'll always have the boy band video.
We'll always have the boy band video. That is for sure. And Duck Facts. Duck Facts will always be around. They'll
Yeah.
always be a thing. All right, guys. We're getting ready for Battleground number 2, but do me a favor and make sure to hit up Quack on Twitter. Hit him up on his Twitch as well and let him know that he is someone that you've cherished watching. He's been such a great personality in the scene that still, even right now, like talking about it kind of gets me all like teary or something. I don't know, man.
He's definitely going to
Emotions.
be back. I mean, he's going to stream. He's going to have success with the streaming, and then he's going to be like, yeah, but I still need some competitive edge. I need a little bit more here to spice things up, and then we're going to have him back.
Yeah.
I give him one phase.
You think so? Really?
I give him one phase.
I don't know. I mean, there is a history in Here's a Storm of players retiring and then coming back. Could be a thing.
One phase.
Yeah? I don't know, man. He's a really good streamer. You might just be able to pull it off there.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that like his stream is going to succeed. Like again, whoever watched the stream knows that it's really entertaining. But at the same time, I believe that at some point, if that goes on for let's say half a year, he's going to be in a position where he says, "Okay, this is all fun and I like it, and I'm going to continue doing it. But I still want something that challenges me a little bit more."
Sure.
So, and also I'm a little bit selfish here. I want him back in HGC. So
I mean,
I'm
he's a
just- I'm
competitor
saying
through and through, you know?
one phase.
Well,
He was competitive in tennis before that,
Mhm.
then switched to gaming where he became competitive. So when he becomes a streamer, he's going to get the most out of that and pour his heart and soul into this. But I still think that at some point, when he actually watches other people play the entire time, that at some point he's going to look at this like, if you actually make that core call right here, you're going to win. And it's like, okay,